Hi everyone, this is Susan with Blended Insight, and I wanted to talk about something that is up for so many people right now, including myself, and that is forgiveness. We always teach what we need to learn. So for me, I knew that there were things that I needed to forgive, things that I need to forgive myself for and other people for years ago, and I started learning everything I possibly could about the subject of forgiveness from a physical, practical standpoint and also a spiritual standpoint. And over the years, I've developed processes that work for me and help me to release situations, people, circumstances, and events. And this is a continual thing for me. I've had recent upset with situations concerning my youngest daughter because she's being has been picked on at school, which instantly activates righteous anger in me, and I've shared that in a previous video. Actually, when anyone is being picked on and bullied and being mistreated, I immediately go into righteous anger. And I know from an energetic perspective and from the energy work that I do that someone that is picking on another person is wounded. And I can look at their energetic field and see where their insecurities are and where the holes are in their own aura. And that helps me to develop compassion for that person. But when you're in your ego mind, in your physical body, and you're not in a higher vibration, you can get mad. That's the condition, the human condition. So we all have an ego, and part of our lessons here are learning how to pause and take ourselves to a higher level, connect, and help the world to heal. From an energetic perspective, I just wanted to share that, and I'm only sharing this not to over explain or not to insult your intelligence, but just to share this. This is from my experience and what I have learned and what has helped me to understand why I need to forgive. Because when people would say you need to forgive for yourself, it would confuse me because years ago I thought that if I was angry at someone, I was essentially punishing them by being angry at them. Or if I was angry at myself, I would stop myself from doing that behavior because I was angry at myself. For example, earlier in my life, I was very addicted to sodas because I grew up on sodas. So there was a time when I first got on my health journey, and this was probably about 15 years ago. I was trying to give up sodas. So if I drank a soda, I would get really angry at myself. But it didn't help me. It actually just lowered my vibration, and it made the entire situation worse. So whether it is you're trying to hold yourself hostage or someone else with unforgiveness, the reality of the situation is you're weakening yourself. The person that you're angry at is not affected by your anger. The person that you're upset with is not affected by you. They're sleeping at night. They're fine. You're the one that has taken this emotion and stored it in your body, and now it's going to make you sick mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And here's the reason why, or let me just share why from my understanding. So when I look at someone who has a lump of unforgiveness in their body, the place where you store your anger is, or I'm using anger because that's an emotion that's been up a lot right now, especially with my daughter being picked on at school. I feel a lot of anger. So this is such a great time for you to make this video because I've had to use this very process that I'm sharing with you. And I've used my own meditation that I've made available to help me with this. So anger is the emotion I'm using, but you insert whatever emotion you're experiencing with your unforgiveness. When I begin to get angry about this, I actually feel it in my shoulders. So when I feel it in my shoulders, that's where I'm storing the emotion. And it's like, because you don't let the emotion flow through your body, you hold it. So this is really interesting because when I was in the 5th grade, I used to play basketball. I played basketball from the 3rd grade all the way through high school. And I started developing bursitis in my left shoulder. When I'm angry, I hold my emotions in my shoulders, I noticed. Some people will hold it in their stomach. Some people will hold it in their chest. Wherever you hold it, you're basically taking that emotion and you're storing it there, and you're putting a cage around it and you're sticking it there. And that emotion still exists. So now it's like this little magnetic ball, and it's glowing and it's bright and it's attracting all of these any emotion that's in that vibration of that specific emotion that you're dealing with, it's attracting it. You'll notice people will say, I keep attracting the same situation. I got a new job, but I hate it just as much as the old one, and I have the same type of person in my life at this job. Or I keep attracting the same relationship. I have experienced this, and before I learned all of this, I didn't really know how to deal with it. But the reason why is because you have this emotion lodged in your vibration. The way to let it go is to replace it with love. And I know that's really hard. The way that I replace a situation with love is looking through a different lens and developing compassion. So, and that's really hard when you're in an angry place. And I understand that. Believe me, I understand that. But what happens is over time, that condition, that emotion that you've stored begins to, well, we already talked about it, pulling circumstances, the same circumstances to you. And that's basically the universe's way of showing you that you still have healing work to do here. You're holding on to something you need to let go. You need to grow to the next level. So it's not a punishment. It's really just showing you what needs to be healed. So as I shared, I had started developing bursitis in my shoulder, and we attribute it to an overuse injury with basketball. But even when I quit playing basketball and I moved on to my adult years, I still had that there. And when I learned the metaphysical reasons for bursitis, arthritis, and tendonitis, it's like unresolved anger. So I had things from my childhood that I hadn't resolved, and it manifested in my shoulder. And once I started to become aware of that and start trying to deal with it, those symptoms went away. They subsided. So I'm only using that example to share with you of how you can scan your own body and see where you could possibly be holding some unresolved grief, anger, resentment, something that you can take control of and decide to forgive, release, and let go. The person that harmed you is unconscious. And when you're unconscious, you don't know you're unconscious. So telling ourselves, other people, that person, that they should have did it this way or they should have did it that way is really a judgment. And I'm not saying that it isn't aligned with a higher moral system, but the reality of the situation is we are all different. We don't know what's going on in the lives of other people, and we don't know what's going on in the minds of other people. All we know is that we are all different. And so when we try to take our value system and apply it to other people and expect for them to accept our value system, we are judging and we are only hurting ourselves. In the end, it really isn't going to change anything. And when you confront someone with your judgment, they immediately respond with judgment. And I'm speaking from experience. I am guilty of this, especially when I'm activated. Gosh, my poor family has to listen to me go on these rants, and I don't like behaving in a self-righteous way, but I do recognize that righteous behavior for a cause when someone is being harmed is different than self-righteous anger. But sometimes I can feel myself teetering on that line of being self-righteous, and I don't like that. And I know at that time I need to sit still, I need to get quiet, and I need to rise above the situation. And that's what we all need to do. And it's not easy, but thankfully there are tools and guides and teachers here to help us. If you made it through the past, you survived. So you should be very proud of yourself. I don't care how many scars you have or how beaten and bruised you feel. You're here today. You made it through. So it's time to let go those old emotions that are keeping you stagnant and stuck. It's time to evolve to the next level of life. And the way you do that is by replacing the judgments, the hurt, and the grief with love and compassion. And in this process that I created on my website, I walk you through a process of forgiving and letting go. And we introduce compassion. And I've layered it with energy healing and Reiki to help you. The past only exists in the mind. Whatever event that has happened to you that you're holding, it's time to let it go so you can evolve to the next level. So I hope that helps. And I'm sending all kinds of love and forgiveness energy to you. Thank you for watching.